Hello, new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. There's about 1,500 new people added to the channel, subscribers, so thank you all for the support. We have officially reached 22,000 subscribers. So just taking you all along the journey to financial independence. And how did I end up here living in the Tesla, right? What's the story behind everything? How did we even get to this point? So I just want to backtrack it. In 2019, I had applied to be a production associate at Tesla, and so I got the position. It was an entry-level job. Keep in mind, I have a degree in business from San Jose State, and I had graduated in 2017, so when I applied to be a production associate at Tesla, it was $19 an hour, basic entry-level job. Anyone can pretty much get the job as long as you knew like basic mandatory like required tooling skills, right? So I got in, I worked my tail off, I made sure to help everybody that I could, right? To make sure I got my name out there, right? And I worked my way up the ladder, right? So 1.5 years I was a production associate, and then I was a team lead for a year, and then a year after that I became a production supervisor, which I was a supervisor for about 2.5 years in production. So hands on the car, I actually helped build this Model Y. So after I became a production supervisor, things got really hectic mentally, right? I was salary, meaning like work basically follows you home. And so, you know, it was like long hours already, 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then you got work to do at home, right? So I decided to sleep in the parking lot to avoid the commute to get 7 hours of sleep versus 3.5 or 4 hours of sleep. And I did that for quite a while. And then on April 15th, 2024, I know the old subscribers, you already know what happens, but for the new ones who don't know, basically I was on my way to work, commuting, because I got tired of car living for a little bit at the time, and I was on autopilot, and I got a personal email, and it basically said, your position has been eliminated, and I thought it was just like a scam email, like, you know, some people would just type email and then send it out, and it's a personal email. So I'm like, what is this? So I text my boss, and then he was like, oh, don't worry about it. Everyone got it. You'll be fine. Just come in. I was like, cool. So I parked, and I went to the badging gate just to check and see. I was like, maybe this is real. And so when I went to the badging gate and tried my badge, it turned red. And I was like, this can't be real. This can't be happening. So I tried it again. So I tried 2 times, yeah, and then I was like, wait, it is red, like, and then I looked to my left, and then there's this security guard, and he was just like, hey, he pulled me to the side, hey man, sorry, you've been part of the layoffs, and you're no longer working here. I'm gonna need your badge, and I'm like fumbling with my badge. I was like, wait a second, like, how is this happening? Like, what about like an all hands meeting or something, like? You know, what about some type of like warning besides the email that I got on the way to work, right? So it was just like, it was different, right? I thought it would be a little bit different, but hey. And so I did the walk of shame. I walked back to my car. I looked left and right, and I was just like, damn, I literally parked and camped in this parking lot. Like, that's crazy. And like it ends just like this, like, I don't know, part of me is like, gotta move on, but like, you spent 5 years working at a company, is like, how do you move on from that? Is like, I don't know, it's like, it's hard sometimes, because, you know, you're like, you put your all into something day in, day out, and to be let go like that with like minimal communication is like, I don't know, it still bothers me a little bit, but yeah, my message is you gotta move on, right? I know like some people on this channel have visited me at GNC in Stoneridge Mall, and they tell me their story about, you know, they've been part of layoffs and all that, and from Meta and from Apple, for all these different companies, right? And, you know, it happens, right? Reduction in workforce because of budget cuts and all that, right? Trying to cut costs, right? But I do really think that Tesla could have given a better communication on it. But anyways, besides the point. My message to the people who have been laid off, it's not the end, right? And there's this book that I read called The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. And one of his main concepts in the book is said, you can't always control outside events, right? Things may not go your way. Some people may talk badly about you, or you get laid off, or the weather, right? Like it starts raining or pouring, right? I use this sports analogy, right? Like in football, the ball may not go your way, right? But you can always 100% control your response to something, right? Your response is in your control, right? How do you respond to a bad situation? That is the whole concept and idea of the book, The Obstacle is the Way, right? And it's the Stoics, right? And it's like things go wrong. Yeah, okay, cool. What are we going to do about it, right? What the hell are we going to do to fix whatever just happened, right? So my response was, A, let's sell the home. A, let's live in the car, and we're going to be financially independent so we're not stuck with the same situation again. I know it was like a big, bold move in doing all those things at once, but, you know, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be financially independent. And The Rock, I'm a big, avid believer of The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, but he had this thing where he's like saying, like, I got to go that way, and I don't give a F who's in front of me. They're not going to stop me, right? You got to put your blinders on sometimes. If you have a goal, if you got a dream, right, don't let anyone stop you from achieving that goal or dream, whether it may be a job loss or people trying to switch you and sway you to different beliefs, right? If you got a goal, you got a dream, believe that you can do it. Because anything is possible. That's what my dad told me. He said, Nico, if you put your mind to it, anything's possible, right? And if you got laid off from a job, it's not the end. What you can do is control your response to it. You know, keep applying to other jobs. Know that it's a process, and the process takes long, right? Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey, right? That's what my message is to anyone that has gotten laid off, right? And for me, when I got laid off, I was like, okay, this can happen again. This ain't the first time that it can happen. So if I go to another company, you know, they could cut my job just like that again. So what's the response that I'm going to do? The response I'm going to do is, hey, let's build up enough capital and enough buffer of cash. So that way you have all that, and then you have these things called dividends that pay you every single 3 months. And so you don't have to be at a physical job all the time, right? So that's my response to being laid off is, okay, what's the fastest way possible that we can make this physically happen? Okay, let's cut the biggest expense in my budget. That's going to be rent or a mortgage, right? So I was like, okay, let's not do that. Let's skip this part. So I chose to live in my Tesla, save money, so enough buffer and capital that I can be financially independent from a job where I don't have to be at a job and I get residual income every single 3 months, right? And you save that buffer for months, for those 3 months, right? So my response, it may be very radical, maybe very crazy, but I think Steve Jobs said it. He said, it's only the crazy ones who really change the world, right? Sometimes you got to be a little cuckoo, man. But, you know, car living has made me save a lot of money, whereas if I didn't, I would have been putting the money towards rent. So I've calculated about $1,500 per month savings, which is good. And the goal is to be financially independent in 5 years. I know it's a big, crazy dream, but I'm already halfway, almost $150,000 because Tesla stock has been going up, and I have a majority of my shares in Tesla stock. I still believe in the company, and I still believe in Tesla and what it's trying to do. Being laid off has not changed my view on it. I freaking live in the car now, right? What I like to think is like you turn water into wine, right? It's like you got laid off from Tesla. All right, we're gonna live in it and we're gonna promote it on the internet. But you know, some people would be like, hey, you got laid off, man, why are you promoting their brand? Because I believe in the mission, which is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, right? To make a cleaner and better world for the generations to come, right? Always leave the place better than you found it. But thank y'all for watching my video about, I don't know, my story. And I just wanted to update all the new subscribers who are here and just put out my story and who I am, what I'm all about, and why, the reason why I'm living in my Tesla, right? There's always a why to everything, right? But that why is gonna push you when things get hard. When things go, hey, I don't wanna do this no more, think about that why. Why are you doing something, right? And that why is gonna make you stick with something in the long run. Because if you don't have that why, if you don't have the reason behind it, it's not gonna happen. You have to have a strong why, right? All right, so this is my Model Y 2021. It has about 103,000 miles on it, but it's running great. I haven't had any major repairs on it besides the axles in the front. But this is the coolest car that I've ever owned. So, and here she is, yeah. So this is the Model Y. Give y'all a little tour. Yep, the new roof rack is looking great. I have a lot of stuff up there, so that way I can pretty much put all the extra stuff. This is temporary for now. I put it on this plastic because I'm gonna end up returning it soon. But pretty much I got a bed platforms coming in about 2.5 weeks. So that's a new addition. And I have all my pots and pans right here, oatmeal, got my non-stick spray right here, plates, peanut butter, my cooler's right here. When I do get the new platform bed, it's gonna be this guy underneath here. There's gonna be enough space inside underneath the sub trunk in order for it to breathe and you know, stay cool. So there's a cooler or a fridge, yeah, something like that. Anyways, bed, pillow, all that good stuff right here. The bed platform works really well. Let me show y'all in the front. This is the bed platform right here. I have it on these containers. Somebody asked me on the previous videos what size this was. So there's the size. So these are the dimensions that the bucket is sitting on. So if you guys want to grab this bucket, I got it from Michael's. But this is the bucket and what it's sitting on. And this is the Thule cargo thing I got. Shout out to Jed Moya. He is a brother from Alpha Kappa Omega that had let me borrow this. So it's a cargo rack and helps me store all my extra stuff that I don't need inside the car. And surprisingly, the car still gets stacked up with stuff, even though I put majority of it on the top. But that's a little tour and guide of the Tesla. I do live in this, and it gets pretty cramped, not gonna lie, but you know, we work with what we got, right? All right, thank y'all for the support. Appreciate the new subscribers. Just wanted to update y'all. We'll catch y'all in the next video. Thank you.